All right. Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Let's see. Good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. So, couple of things. I know I have not been on a couple weeks. I have been traveling. A lot has been going on, and so the last few weeks between Mother's Day and traveling, I've missed a few weeks, but we are back. And I plan to be available on Sundays at 8 o'clock. And I hope that you would come out and join me and tune in weekly. And so I have been talking about these manuals for months. Well, they are finally here. This is the It's Time to Build Your Arc manual. These are the manuals that have been up for sale. Manuals will start shipping this week. So if you ordered a manual, your manual will be put in the mail this week. You will have a tracking number this week. So I wanted to go over this a little bit this week. It literally is 400 pages. This is a 400-page manual. It is, sorry, that's my puppy in the background. He is biting and shaking a pillow. It is literally 23 chapters, and then there's several appendices at the end. And so, yeah, so it's a lot of different things in here. There's practical things, there's natural things, there's spiritual things. There are a lot of things in here. There's different sections. I'm really excited. I hope those that ordered these will be able to, find what you're looking for in here. So, like for instance, I'm really big on telling people that I know there's a lot going on, but we have to stay, what's the word? We have to stay informed of things that are going on. So, chapter 16, if you pop over, open chapter 16, let's see if I can turn to it really fast. Uh, oh, that's 7. Sorry, I'm definitely going the wrong way. Okay, this is chapter 16. Uh, bu- 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 bu. Oh, wow. Yeah, chapter 16 is a really long chapter. And so, chapter 16 goes over policy, power, and digital infrastructure. And so, it is going to talk about things like what is Project 2025? And this is not from a political spin. There's no political spin to it. It's just for people being informed. And so, just like we're talking about things like, how to stock up things, things that you should have on hand, things to consider as far as the weather in your area, it covers things like the breakdown of the Big Beautiful Bill, the 2027 budget. I share dreams God has given me. I share about how to build a community. I also have a handout. I think I'm just going to start. I think I'm going to pin it to the comments next time with the link. It's kind of for pastors, but even if somebody's in leadership or even if somebody just is building a community or gathering their family, it teaches how to build a community and how to have a plan. One thing about it, I've been talking to people about having emergency plans for their families and their churches and different things like that. And one thing I was saying, you have to actually practice this stuff. If you think that just reading something or just sitting down having a conversation saying if this happens, this is what we're going to do. If you don't practice it, there's no muscle memory, and we tend to sometimes, if we get overwhelmed or if we get panicky, we tend to forget the things we said that we were going to do, right? And so there's all type of things in here. So things like that are in here. Things about home security, securing your home. We know that when as a lot of things are happening, people are getting desperate. And I know like where we were at, there was a what is it? Not a prank, but a challenge for people to try to kick people's doors in. And so you just never know what's going on around you. And so I'm really, really excited about having this done. And so the reason I did this manual was made, for those that didn't know, is I had multiple dreams about creating a manual, like a almost I don't almost like a survival manual, or like a guide or whatever you want to call it. And so I started putting it together and I'm like, God, I'm going to be looking really crazy out here. I'm going to be looking really, really weird. And then the crazy thing really happened was people started ordering them. And I was shocked that people began to order this manual. I didn't expect anyone to be interested. And so it was really, really shocking. And so I am going to put the link in the comments for anybody that may be interested in ordering their copy. And so, again, these will begin shipping this week. People will start getting their tracking numbers. I had to wait for the boxes to come in to ship them because some people ordered multiple, and I'm shipping them to different states and different places. And so these are going to start shipping out this week. Another cool thing, there's a chapter, see if I can find it. Okay, here it is. I think it's chapter 23, and it's called Where to Get Supplies. And I took the time, I don't know if you can see, but I put QR codes. So for every item in, well, not all of them, but for the majority of the items that are in this chapter, starting on page 365, there are QR codes. So when you click on the QR code, it takes you directly to the item if you want to purchase it. Now, I'm big on, I tell people, start where you are, stay in your budget, get only what's needed. You don't need to get stuff to prepare for a hurricane if you live in Michigan. There are no hurricanes. And so just think about where you are geographically. Think about, Michigan keeps getting outages. There's been more outages in Michigan even this week. And so, we're in an area where at least at minimum, you need a flashlight and batteries. Some people may have more of a budget. I know a lot of people in Michigan actually have been getting generators because we've been losing power on and off when storms hit. And so, but yeah, so this is like different supplies, and the supplies are in different categories, like water supplies, first aid supplies. There's even like a list of supplies for your vehicle. This is one thing people don't think about, especially when you live in an area like Michigan. There are pileups on the highway, unfortunately, almost every year in Michigan, and getting caught in a blizzard on the highway is not fun. And so thinking about things that you would need in an emergency situation like that, where you may be on the highway in the middle of nowhere, it's snowing, what do you need in your car to make sure you're okay until you get out of that situation? Just things to consider. It's always a good idea to have a few emergency supplies in your car in case there's some type of issues with your vehicle on the road, or in case you're stuck in traffic or some type of situation or scenario may play out. So that's also in there. And so again, all you have to do is take your phone and scan the QR code, and it takes you directly to the item. And you can see some of the codes take you directly to the item. Some take you directly to the category. So for instance, if the item is, I don't know, saltine crackers, I'm just making something up, the QR code will either take you directly to a particular saltine cracker, or it's just going to take you to a whole page with nothing but saltine crackers from you to select from. But this was just to make things convenient, because everybody is, sometimes it can be a little difficult, a little frustrated for people to figure out, what's a good fit for me, what do I need. So all these things are in there, not for someone to buy them all, absolutely not, but for somebody to say, you know what, I do need some batteries. You know what, I could use a portable charger for my cell phone. You know what, I do need some rechargeable batteries. I do need to make sure that I have, a few extra light bulbs. I'm always down to my last bulb. Let me get a pack of light bulbs. So whatever it is, that's what the purpose of this section is for, so that you can just take the QR code, go directly to it. And if that's something that you want, you're able to purchase it. And, it's going to take you usually to Amazon and different online platforms, and you get whatever it is that you need. And so again, these are going out this week. And so if you want one, this is the perfect time to order one, because we're getting ready to start shipping them out this week. And so if you want one, this is the perfect time to get one ordered. And I'll put the link in the comments so that if you wanted to place your order, you could. And so some other things that are in here, because I'm big on, people want to know like what's on the inside, all type of things from how different let's see what let's go to a different chapter. So like I have some things that are in like an early section. So if you saw the post I put up on Facebook and Instagram, I believe, and the video I did on the 6 dimensions of preparedness, that's actually a section in here. There's also a section that gives an overview of the manual. So a person that gets this is like, okay, what is this manual all about? What is in here? The manual overview, the purpose of that is so that a person could take that section, read it, and have more clarity as to what is in this 400-page manual. 400-page manual is like a textbook. So you want to know what's in there, because then if there's something that is in this manual that could be useful, you kind of know how to navigate and what to do with the information. And so, let's see. There's also an introduction. There's an introduction that kind of speaks to I don't know, kind of speaks to the I don't want to say the why behind this, but it definitely kind of speaks to some of the things we should be thinking about. So the title, of course, is "It's Time to Build Your Ark." When we think about the ark, we think about Noah. And when we think about Noah's ark, we think about the flood. So don't think necessarily flood, even though there has been flooding and we'll see flooding in different places. We see that every year. But the the idea of an ark is preservation. The idea of the ark is preparation. The idea of the ark is perseverance. And so it was an act of obedience that Noah built that ark. That ark was a place of safety. It was a place that preserved him and his family. It was a place that was prepared beforehand for them to survive during a tumultuous season. And because of the season we're living in, I think it's important that we all understand the importance of building our own individual arks. So this means in our home, in our family. So that it goes from the micro level, the smallest unit, all the way up to the biggest. And so that means that I need to make sure, like how they tell you on the airplanes, when you get on the airplane and they go through the whole, if something happens, this is what you do: secure your own mask first, build your own ark, make sure you have your own ark. And so that ark will cover every area of your life. I've been talking to people extensively about this. Is why chapter 16 is so important, because a lot of people don't understand, or I don't want to say don't understand, may not be aware of, some of the different laws that have passed and how these laws will affect them as an individual, may affect their children, their grandchildren, their church family, their loved ones, their neighborhoods. Like right now, we see a lot of areas being overtaken by data centers. And so we have to build our own ark, knowing that we're seeing a lot of shifting in what the federal government is offering and where funding is going. And so as funding is cut in different places, like for instance, we've seen cuts to FEMA. And so that may mean there may not be as strong of a response from FEMA if there were a natural disaster to occur, if a natural disaster were to occur. So this means we need to be forward thinking, and we need to be proactive and not reactive as to, okay, we know we're in the middle of storm season. It always hits in May. Yeah, I think it's like May to November or something like that, storm season. So let me make sure that if a storm were to hit my area, or I know that my area, particular area tends to get hit by storms, let me make sure I have things in place to where if we have to be in for 3 to 5 days, we have water, we have food, we have the things we need to be comfortable as we ride through the storm. Or if we get caught in the storm and we just were unable to evacuate, we have the things that we need, again, so that we're able to ride through the storm. And so these are the things to think about. These are the things to consider. These are the things that we have to begin to prepare for and be forward thinking, so that we're not caught off guard. A lot of times we think caught off guard, we think pandemics, this and this. It could be weather. It could be weather patterns. We see different things are happening in different areas where people are having issues with their drinking water. So we have to be aware of what is happening around us. So chapter 16 is very, very important, so that you can see the breakdown of the 2027 budget and understand what cuts are coming, and how money is being moved around, and how that could, I didn't say it will, but how that could directly affect you, your household, your loved ones, etc., right? Breakdown of the one big beautiful bill, because a lot of people don't understand. So like one phase of it with the whole financial aid debacle we've been seeing in the news, that starts July 1st. A lot of other things will start being rolled out more after the midterm elections. I'm forgetting something else. Project 2025. There's a breakdown of a tracker that's being used to show what is in the Project 25, what they've proposed, what they've done, and how far along they are. Also, a list. Again, obviously, the list doesn't keep going because once this was sent to the printer, most of the trackers and the executive orders, all that stuff went through mid-April, I believe, 2026. So that means like all the executive orders up until the day that I sent this to the printer, those executive orders are in there, a breakdown of what they are, a short little summary of what they are. It's important to understand that. There's also a breakdown of what Project Nimbus is and Project Esther, and even a brief overview of the 2030 agenda. And so we need to be informed because Noah knew it was going to rain, so he built an ark. So if we know what's coming, or we know what we're preparing for, the warnings have gone out. And myself and so many other prophetic voices have been sounding the alarm and warning the saints for years about various things. And I strongly believe that in 2020, God heard the cries of the saints, and there were some things that were supposed to hit this earth that did not because of our prayers. Now, we got lax. We went back to business as usual. We act like 2020 never happened, and we've gotten lax, and we can feel the rumblings and the shakings and the turmoil in the realm of the spirit. And so even yet we still hold the line in prayer, but we're still aware of what the Lord has spoken, so that number one, we can pray, but also so that things that will happen, we can be prepared. So building your ark is preparation in advance. That's wisdom. Wisdom is preparation in advance. You don't prepare for a storm once it hits. You prepare for the storm before. You look for the signs of the storm. You see the storm. The storm is announced. However, we prepare in advance. And so we are building our arks. And so that building that ark is, we start on the individual level, or like within our home. Let me be more specific. We start in our home, and we build out from there. Because when you have like-minded people, whether they are a part of your church, whether it's family members, whether it's close friends, people you can trust, then you can start building community. Because with community, there's so many more resources, there's so many more skills. Okay, this person, you may have a person in your community that's a family a nurse practitioner that specializes, a family nurse practitioner. You may have a general practice physician. You may have teachers in your community. You may have people in the skilled trades. When you look at the skills and the resources you have, that's what makes a community valuable. Because in of yourself, yeah, you can stock up on things and put your Ring cameras up and lock your door. But there's so much more we can do when there's an actual community. We're less vulnerable when we have community. And when I say vulnerable, it just means like if I have a week supply of food, but I got 20 people in my house, it's more, I'm not as vulnerable when there's a community where we can share resources, we can share things, we can work together, we can collaborate and cooperate. And those are the things to think about. And so all these things are lined up in here. And so again, yes, 400 pages. Talking about, so like right here, this is chapter 18. No, that's not what I wanted. Not chapter 18. Well, I guess it is chapter 18, because it talks about preparing for like weather related things in your region. Thinking about like Michigan has gotten hit with so many tornadoes this year. I've seen more tornadoes probably in the last couple of years than I have my entire life. And I'm a lifelong resident so far of Michigan. And I've never seen so many storms back to back. I remember, I think it was March when those tornadoes hit. Yeah, I think it was either early March or early April. And the governor was like, how come no one was warned? People died. People passed away. She said, why was no one warned? And so, even since then, there have been other storms that have hit and no warning has come. The storms have blown through. And so, that's where preparation, again, being prepared, because we don't know, with the weather being uncertain, I'm definitely, it just seems like we may have a very active storm season. from the things I'm seeing and even things that the Lord has shown me. So we just want to make sure that, we have our duckies in a row. I don't want to say duckies in a row, but we want to make sure that we are prepared and that we're building our ark. And so again, an ark is not just saying I got beans, rice, and water. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but building an ark is more than that. It's a system, it's a preparation. It's a way to survive and thrive no matter what is happening. So an ark is not just beans and water and rice. It's a system. It's having systems in place. It's wisdom and preparation in advance. It's having the things you need when you don't need them. And so again, I'm going to put the link in the comments if you want to order these, because they're going out this week. If you're watching this and you did order, yours will be going out this week. You will get your tracking number this week. The boxes have come in. They're going to start shipping this week. And so I want to make sure that everybody that orders these, that has ordered one, gets theirs as soon as possible. And so I just wanted to take the time to just kind of show these to you. It's all type of things on here. Trying to see if I can find something else. Like a little bit on like home remedies and traditional health. I'm very careful with that stuff, because some people don't understand that just because things are natural does not mean that you can't have a negative reaction in your body. So like when I see all these people like pushing a lot of supplements, like if you don't know a person's baseline to their health, meaning any underlying conditions, any medications they're on and stuff like that, some natural things can work against their medicine. There can be adverse effects. There can be different things that happen that you wouldn't think would happen because this is natural. It's natural. But natural, like for instance, there are certain natural supplements and different things that will interact with blood pressure medicine to where it is not as effective. And if a person is trying to keep their blood pressure down to avoid, other issues, that could be, a kind of a dangerous situation to be in if their blood pressure is getting high and they don't even recognize it because they're taking this natural supplement. So I definitely I'm big on putting disclaimers in there. So I have a very big disclaimer on there because I'm big on, if you're taking natural things, whether it's herbs, supplements, whatever, you need to talk to your doctor, because they're the ones that if something happens, they're the ones that are going to have to patch you up. They're also the ones that are looking at your chart, your blood work. They're the ones doing your exams. They're the one looking at your prescriptions, and they will be able to tell you if something you're taking would interact or hinder or, some kind of way, have some type of unwanted effect on your medication and your health. So it's always important to have that line of communication open with your physician so that you can make sure you're not taking things thinking like this is going to be great for me and it actually has the opposite results. And so that's in there. There's also trying to think what's in here. There's some recipes in here. There's some DIY recipes, some natural things. There's things about how to handle water, how to purify water, just different things. Some things were taken directly off like government websites. So can't nobody be like, well, what is this? Came straight from the government website, and there's QR codes in that section that will take you to the government website to show you that's from the government website. There's QR codes in different sections. So like for instance, see if I can find it. There is, wow, I'm not seeing it. There is, okay, so sorry, I'm trying to get there. So like chapter 22 is a chapter where I share different dreams and things that God has given me, and I share them in here. For the most part, I try to put dates and years with them because a lot of these things were dreams that I may have recorded. So I had the exact date that I recorded these things. A lot of these, I emailed them to myself. I could have just literally screenshot it within my email and did the screenshot like that. But I decided to just type it out. So I felt like it would look neater and cleaner and not be messy, because when you screenshot from the email, it's going to be different sizes depending on the length of the email. So it was just easier to have it just kind of flow like this, but these are just different dreams and things that God has given me. I did some transcripting for different prophetic releases. So I did a prophetic release for 2020 and beyond. I did one for 2025 with me and my husband. And then 2026 publicly at our church, we did it together. But online, it was just me. And so I have the transcripts of those because I know me, if anybody's like me, I don't really like watching a lot of stuff. I like just reading it and being done. And then the QR code is there, and the QR code will take you directly to the YouTube video so you can listen to the whole thing, if that's what you desire. Same thing with the other ones, QR codes. So you're going to see QR codes throughout this manual, whether it's for like things that you may want to order online through like Amazon and different places. And so I put the QR codes in there for you to order. Whether it's some of the videos, there's also going to be QR codes for like when I found did the stuff for like the 2027 budget and the breakdown of the One Big Beautiful Bill. I pulled this stuff directly from .gov websites. So the QR code should be in there as well to take you directly to the website so you can go to the .gov website for yourself and see the stuff in black and white. So you're going to see QR codes throughout this manual. And so these different QR codes will take you again to different websites and different things like that. So like there's a Project 2025 tracker. And so of course the manual stops, tracking in April because that's when they went to the printer. And so, if you wanted to see updates, I put the QR code in there so people can go to get the Excel sheet that they keep updating to show you like what's changed, if anything else has progressed, if anything else has been done, if anything else has moved forward, if there's been any action on any of the items in any of the, I believe, 30 chapters in Project 2025. Same thing with the executive orders. I laid them all out up until when this went to the printer. And then the QR code is there that takes you directly to the government. I think it's another government website that lists out the executive orders so that you can see any that have passed, excuse me, since April and know what they are. And so the reason I did that is because people are living in information overload. It's the news, it's social media, it's TikTok videos, it's YouTube, it's a lot. And so, instead of, 50,000 things, I wanted to take a lot of those things that deal with like, government and law. I wanted to take them with no partisan. So there's no any talk about politics. It's just the actual legislation. So you can see the laws that are passing. You can see the things that are passing and understand how this affects you, because we need to be aware, not from a political perspective, but from a citizen perspective. What does this mean? If this goes through, what is it? Okay, this passed. How will this affect me and my loved ones? And so that's why I put all that together so people wouldn't have to keep running here and there and getting overwhelmed, and then having all the information in one place printed. It makes it to where you can keep going back to it. Because when things, it's okay, it's a CNN video here, it's a Al Jazeera video there, it's a NPR video there, a link there, a local news. You can't keep up with all those things everywhere. But by putting this all in one chapter, it makes it to where you can keep going back, and you can go back and look at these things. And again, I put the QR codes in there so as things progress and as time passes on, you can go and get the updates for anything that may have continued on. And so that's why that chapter, so that's chapter 16. I thought that chapter was very important because I feel like people need to be aware, because as you're preparing, you need to know the things that are happening around you and the things that are going on. And so that's all I wanted to go over today. Today, I just wanted to go over the manual itself. I wanted to show you the manuals. I wanted you to see that they are real, because I know sometimes, it's been a little slow with getting these out. And I know sometimes, seeing something on a flyer versus seeing a person with it. So now you can see it. You can see all the pages. You can see it's literally 400 pages. And so again, these will be going out. I'm going to put the link in the comments so that if you do want one, you can go ahead and get that order put in while we're mailing them this week. But either way, they will continue to remain on sale. And so we're gonna keep these available. This is what God again showed me in a dream. I put this together. I I did what I could. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to be an obedient little obedient little soldier. And so hopefully this is beneficial to someone. And so take these, do what you will with them. I hope they are a blessing to you. And so, yeah, so if anybody had any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to inbox me, reach out to me on Facebook, reach out to me, inbox me, reach out, let me know what your questions are. But other than that, here they are. They're going out if you ordered, and you can get one ASAP if you like one. I will put the link in the comments as soon as this video is done. Feel free to share this with someone that may be interested. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and God bless.